Hey everyone, it is summertime and it is a time for vacations and beach trips and holidays. And so often that can be so fun, but it can also be a really stressful time for folks. I'm Natalie Garamone. I am the owner and principal consultant of 180. We specialize in workplace conflict resolution and mediation. And I'm here with a little case study for how to handle unexpected interruptions when you are on vacation. I know as coaches and consultants, we throw a lot of concepts out at you. And part of what I really want to do with these summer stressor examples is to give you tools and frameworks for addressing them when they come up in practice for you. Hopefully they don't, but if they do, what you can actually do to address them. So let's take a look at this case study. This is called the unexpected interruption. Alyssa's a senior project manager. She's planned a week-long vacation in a secluded mountain cabin to disconnect, recharge, and just enjoy her time away. Before leaving, she briefed her team and her manager that she's going to be completely off the grid, no cell service or internet access. Sounds lovely, right? She also designated assistant project manager Tom as her point of contact for any urgent issues that might come up and conducted a thorough handoff of responsibilities and action items. Brilliant. Good job, Alyssa. However, despite her clear communication, she received a handful of texts and even a voicemail from a team member about non-urgent client issue. So we can see that even when planning is in place, interruptions can happen. We're human beings, it's natural, but I want to walk you through how Alyssa handled the boundary violation during and most importantly, after vacation. So the first step that she did was reaffirming boundaries. When she got to an area with cell service, she noticed the messages and the voicemails. Before responding, she said, "Is this an issue that I actually have to respond to?" And in this case, she said yes, but with a couple of parameters. One, it's not a genuine emergency based on the criteria that I had set out before my departure, but I do think that it's an opportunity, she thought, to provide a teachable moment or an educational response to this particular team member. So Alyssa responded via text message, reiterating her unavailability in this case and reminding that team member of the agreed upon protocol for handling the situation. Specifically in this case, hey, Tom's been dubbed the assistant project manager in my absence. So you could have reached out to him with this, and I actually would like you to do that. Or it doesn't seem like it's that urgent. We can actually postpone this until my return. At that point, the boundary has been reaffirmed. The additional educational piece or teachable moment has been shared. And most people leave it at that. It happens. We're a little bit frustrated. We head back to the office. It happened, but we dealt with it in the moment, even if we were a little bit resentful, and we don't really have much follow-up. Oftentimes, that is not a piece of the puzzle that people are putting back in place. What I want you to think about is this next step that is so important, the post-vacation follow-up. So in this case, when Alyssa returned back to work, she scheduled a meeting with the team member to review what happened. During the meeting, clarified and got to a same page on what constitutes an emergency and really stressed the importance of setting and respecting boundaries when we're on vacation. This is important not just from a kind of selfish standpoint, right? We want people to be able to enjoy their vacations when they take them as well. So making sure that you have a shared understanding of why that's important is really good in these situations. She also used it as an opportunity to solicit feedback from that team member on how they could improve handling similar situations in the future, putting the reflective lens back on this individual and saying, what might you do differently, right? Because in these moments, we want to ensure that we're not enabling a future dynamic that is going to create this cycle of us having to break our boundaries when we're on vacations or time away from the office. And most importantly, this next step, implementing improvements or practice areas. So when we talk about preventing future occurrences, Alyssa implemented a more structured escalation process, really outlining step by step to be able to show to her team what would need to happen for decision making in her absence. This included a little bit of case studies or scenarios to make sure they understood what actually could happen and how to put these protocols in place. And I know that this can seem a little bit hand-holdy, but if you find yourself having to consistently step in or interrupt your vacations, the question I would ask to you is, how clear have I been about processes and expectations before I leave the office? If your team is unclear about what to do or who to go to, their natural tendency is going to come to you. Why? Because you're awesome at what you do and you usually have all the answers, right? Part of the challenge with that is that we become this linchpin for every situation. So creating space can happen by putting processes and decision-making protocols in place and setting really clear expectations on who to go to for what in our absence. It can mitigate tension and it sets you up for success during your time away from the office.